This is Bob.
This is Ross.
This is Alex.
We're from Immolation.
Listening to Interview Under Fire.
Thank you.
Really awesome. You guys are currently rolling through North America on the Godless IV Tour.
Yes.
Like when this tour flyer first dropped, I think not only did it surprise everybody, but in a good way, but all the fans were coming up front, like the old school death metal fans like myself, saying, "Oh my God, this is the tour I've been waiting for all along." Did you guys have that same reaction when you guys dropped the flyer to the fans, and after seeing the reaction,
Yeah.
this is the tour we wanted to do all along as
Absolutely.
musicians? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we've known all these bands for years. We've toured with Rotting Christ before. We've toured with Deicide before. We've known Behemoth and most of their crew for years, just never had a chance to tour with them. So, it's a no-brainer. Once this all came together, we just had a great feeling about it. We were excited about it. We knew it would be something great for the fans. It's great for the bands. I mean, it's awesome because we all know each other. Everything's been flowing really easy on this tour. So, I mean, just going into it, we knew it was going to be a great one. And we're just happy it was able to happen and just happy to be a part of it.
Yeah. I mean, as a fan, this is a spectacular tour. The tour was originally scheduled for late last year, and the lineup was slightly different. But it got moved back to this time period, April, May of this year, because Nurgle had a son, so it got pushed back. And when that happened, Deicide got added, and, it was still us and Rotting Christ, and we were like, wow, now that's a banger of a tour, and that's like a fan's dream. Our agent asked us a while ago, he's like, you guys have toured with a lot of bands. Any bucket list bands you haven't toured with yet? And the two bands came out of our mouths immediately were Obituary and Behemoth. So we got to tour with Obituary 2 years ago, which was spectacular because we love those guys, the nicest guys. And then this tour offer came around and we were like, wow, awesome, because we love Behemoth. We know the guys for a long time, so it just made sense. I mean, this was a great tour, and every band has been around the block multiple times. We each have close to 30 years or longer, in the game, so, it makes for a smooth tour. Everybody's respectful, everybody, no ego. Every crew person on this tour is spectacular. It's just been a really, really cool tour, a fun tour, and the shows have been amazing.
Yeah, and also, all four bands are very different as well. All dark bands, but all have our own kind of unique style. And, and I think that also makes it super special as well, as far as in the extreme metal genre.
I appreciate all that feedback. I got the hint when I walked in with you guys when we first came to the venue. I'm just feeling the atmosphere of it feels like a death metal show. Seeing the VIP line for Behemoth, seeing how everything is just really it's an orderly fashion.
It is.
I don't know how.
The Behemoth crew is amazing.
Yeah.
They have their whole, from the show to the behind the scenes to what you just saw here when the fans come in, the VIP stuff. They have everything down to a science, and it's great. And they're super accommodating to all the bands on the tour. So they're the best guys, so they're a part of why everything runs so smooth too, and they're always looking out for the other bands. So it's been very, very cool, and dealing with them and touring with them has been awesome, as well as obviously the other bands. It's just everyone works together.
Rotting Christ, Deicide, Behemoth, right? And then you guys, Immolation. I wonder if it comes into your minds where you're touring with these are big acts, right? A whole movement of music. When you see a band like Behemoth or Deicide perform live, are you guys looking at your live set and you're like, okay, maybe the first or second day of the tour it's different, but now it's okay, we got to meet them up here.
I don't think it's like that for any of us. We each do our own thing. Everybody does it extremely well. There's none of that competitive kind of vibe. We all get up there and we do our thing each night, and everybody brings it 110%. Us, Rotting Christ, Deicide, and Behemoth. Everybody, and like Alex said, everybody has their own flavor to add to this tour. All dark bands, but all very different. And we all know what we got to do every night. It's about, we get up there and there's a packed house, and that's what it's about. It's making that connection with the fans while we're up there. We have 30 minutes to shine, and we get 8 songs out there every night, and we do our best, to make it like a show. You know what I'm saying, and to put our 110% into it. So,
and everybody's doing that. Every band gets up there, knocks it out of the park, and if anything, it's more of like, you're just interested in seeing who can I get a glimpse of tonight, you know what I mean? Because obviously when you're on the road, you think like, oh, you could see these guys all the time every night, but
Sure.
Everyone's got their own schedule. By the time we're done on stage, we have things that we need to do to get, so sometimes, you don't see Rotting Christ all the time, or Deicide all the time, or Behemoth all the time, so you try and catch little bits. So for us, it's almost just more of inspiring, seeing the other bands and just saying, oh, cool, I got to catch this much of this band tonight and that much of that band, So we just enjoy watching the other bands, and, I think everyone just kills it every night. So and for the fans, every band comes out, kills it, and the fans have been super. I think all these fans, most of them are interested, know all the bands, are interested in the bands of one way or another, because the reactions to all the bands are always stellar. So it's just a great package, and I think the fans appreciate all these bands together as one unit, traveling. It's
the vibe is very reminiscent of like the early days of the scene, like the 80s, when the kids are like rabid from the second doors are open. They come in, they get their spot right up by the stage, and they're there for all the bands, which is good for us because we go on at like 6:25 every night.
Yeah.
So when we got the schedule, we were kind of like, well, hopefully, we'll have some heads in there when we play, but it's been a non-issue. Like the fans are there every night to support. And they've been rabid from the second we start until the second Behemoth's finished, like every band. So it's very unique.
Yeah, even the last show we played in Atlanta, it was like you said, like it was like back in the 80s. I remember I was saying to the guys, I was like, man, this is like back in the day. And they were like chanting, like, hammering the stage and all, like, before we got on. And I was like, wow, man, this is amazing, So, that was like really encouraging. And also for Atlanta, I have to say, like, I'm sure we'd all agree that it was probably in our career the best show we ever did in Atlanta.
On this tour?
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say hands down, especially for me. Yeah.
Atlanta.
Amazing.
You guys have done both, opening or headlining. What's more challenging? What's more convenient?
I think
You've done both throughout this.
Headlining's the most challenging.
Really?
It's very overrated. You're the last man up after like a killer show. The pressure's always on you if the show doesn't do well, if whatever. If the show does great, you're a superstar. If the show doesn't do great, it's on you. You know what I'm saying? Because you're carrying the tour, quote unquote. So for us, like where we are on this tour is awesome. We get a half an hour to shine. We do our 8 songs. We get up there early. We do our best to knock it out of the park, and then we're done. We get to relax, shower, have some dinner, and then be fans and catch some of the other bands and catch up with friends, meet the fans. So yeah, it's kind of cool. We're kind of spoiled. We were saying that like, man, I can get used to this, 6:30 slot, know. So
to enjoy the night. And
Also,
like Ross said, family or friends come out, you get to spend some time with them and do stuff. And by the time you get back, Behemoth might still have like 3 or 4 songs left, so you can, watch some of that stuff, or bring, your family and friends to check that out. Like, oh, you got to check these guys out. And, so it's cool. It's nice having that time, especially on a tour like this, a big tour. It's just nice to be done, or like the first guy's done, and that's it. We get to just enjoy the rest of the day.
Alex, did you want to add to that?
Well, on a side note, also it's nice to sometimes get on our bunks early too.
I was going to say that. I was thinking the exact same thing.
Yeah.
The older we get, that bedtime tends to the time kind of like changes, over the years. Like, okay, I can actually go to my bunk now.
Well,
Our age now, it's just like, it's nice.
some nights it is nice. Like, I'm feeling it tonight.
I mean, all the shows are pretty these days. When we were growing up, the headliner wouldn't go on till like 1 a.m. Like these days, everything's super early, and where we're at now, we're like, that's fine now, But all the shows end by like 10:30, 11 o'clock, Back in the day, every show you went to back in the day was always a late show.
We'd go see like Brooklyn, Lemoore in Brooklyn was our spot in the 80s growing up. So we saw everybody from Slayer, Possessed, everybody played there, King Diamond. And, you'd get out of those weekend shows literally like 3 a.m. You were like walking to the subway at 3 a.m. So no joke. I mean, these are late fucking shows. Like shows didn't start till like 10 o'clock, So it was like, it's a different it's a different world today where like, you know, Behemoth's done some nights at like 10:40. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, as an
Great at this point. You know, I think for everybody.
That's actually amazing. I was
Yeah.
here.
It honestly is better for the fans because especially on a Monday night like tonight, they could be out of here before 11 o'clock. You know what I mean? It doesn't, it makes it easier for the fans to come out because they know the show's done early. It makes it a lot easier on the bands because like Behemoth, for instance, they're done before 11 o'clock. That's good for them because they've had a long day because they're the first ones to come in the morning, do sound checks, go through this whole thing. Then they got to wait like 5 or 6 hours and then they play. So, they get to be done at least at a decent time. You know what I mean? So I think it works out better for everybody and it makes the shows better because a lot of times if shows are too late, people start leaving because, it's just they got to go to work the next day. You know what I mean? So these days it's better that everything is kind of on the early side.
I mean, no better way to spend a Monday night than with you guys, right? Like that's how you start the week off.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I was
Absolutely.
here was it a couple months ago. The headliner didn't get on until 10:30, and I'm sitting there just because I was covering the show. I was like, this is insane. Like this is past my bedtime. But having said that, this was on a Tuesday night in the middle of April, and everybody was still here.
Yeah.
It is important. I mean, especially what we've been through in the last 6 years. I don't mean to bring back 2020. It's kind of like a PSD at this point, but.
Yeah.
Live music is important, right? Bringing
Yeah.
people after these shows and considering
Absolutely.
how much of this material is streaming nowadays. You just sit on your couch and just watch. I'm old fashioned. I'm very picky on like how I want to intake all my material, and it's growing up in like the 80s. Like most people are here in this building tonight. It's nice to see like you guys come out and seeing the old school death metal fans come out to these shows. I was texting my buddies, man, what time are you gonna be at the show? Like, it's cool to have that again.
Yeah, sure, of course.
Not that it never went away, but
Yeah, but
it's nice to keep that movement going.
It is, and you're right, especially after the pandemic, when we had to sit down at home and watch people streaming, what they were doing, just fun things, watching the collabs with all the different bands. And Rotting Christ did a really cool thing during the pandemic when they did a bunch of songs in the studio, which was awesome. I told them, I said, that was awesome, man. That's the kind of shit that kept me going during the pandemic. Like all those cool little like collabs that people did, like, the SOD stuff, with Danny and a bunch of people. So yeah, it was awesome to see that.
Yeah, I think going back to the old school coming out, the old school bands and fans, we've seen a lot of young people on this tour too, which is really cool. A lot of young people, which is awesome. Even when Behemoth does their VIP sound check, they'll ask, or even during the show, I think sometimes they'll ask, how many people are here for the first time? And there'll be a lot of people, so people are seeing them for the first time, and there's a lot of young people, and we noticed that, and that to me is like the best thing for bands like us that have been around almost 4 decades, and then you see like 15, 16-year-olds sitting there getting into your music for the first time, seeing us, they don't know who we are before they walked in the door, and then they're like, wow, you could tell they're getting into it, you know what I mean? So, you're making new fans, and you're bringing music to younger people, and they're into it, so for us, that's awesome. That's like the best thing, is seeing the younger generations take the music that we've been doing, the type of music we've been doing for almost 4 decades, and getting into it and getting excited about it, That to me is like the best part.
See, those things, like little things like that, not even kind of a little thing at this point, that's just a huge deal when it comes to getting up on stage. Simple thing is like playing music, but you're doing it for fans who are going to remember you possibly for the rest of your life. You could influence somebody into forging their own path.
Every time you see the young kids get into metal,
remember when I saw Immolation in 2026 at the Bomb Factory? Right. You're going to hear that. You're going to hear thing about Behemoth too.
Well, we didn't play yet, so we'll see. We might suck.
You're in a
might fail hard tonight.
I'm just telling you that much. I know we just got a couple minutes left here, but you mentioned when you started 1988.
88.
I'm aging myself here at this point. That's nearly 4 decades of Immolation.
Yep.
Not easy to do. Let me commend you guys for that. I meant it when I said when I first came in here how much I really appreciated your music. It really goes a long way. That kind of longevity, like in extreme metal, it's incredibly rare, especially while sounding this intense and uncompromising. Descent blew me the fuck away. If I can
thank you.
Curse for a second here. When you look back on, this is for any of you guys. When you look back on at the road of Dawn of Possession to Descent, and I know Alex, you joined a little later in the band's timeline, and that's okay. What do you think has kept? I'm not asking for secret sauce or anything like that. What do you think has kept Immolation creatively hungry after all these years? Because keeping things fresh, you did that with Descent.
Passion.
It's
passion. Yeah. Still passionate about everything, Yeah.
Yeah, you want to create something that's, we're excited about creating new stuff. We're still excited about it. We're still ambitious. We're still whatever, just like we were when we were kids,
awesome.
So if I'm writing something and I send it to these guys, or if, even if it's just a part, I'll send it to Ross, say, and be like, oh, I think this is going to be a cool part or whatever, and he'll hear it and be like, oh, that sounds pretty sick. We're like 15-year-old kids, like, oh, this sounds
Totally.
You want to create something that's, going to move yourself as well as the people that are listening to it, and we care about what we write as much as, when you're writing new stuff, you want it to be as good as possible. Every song, every part of the album, you want to create something that's going to, have that emotion and meaning in the lyrics, the music. That's obviously, like everything we've done, we always try and keep the roots of the music, but we try and get a fresh angle on it as best we can, and it gets harder. It's not easy, I got to say. After over 100 songs and 11 records going into this one, it's like
fit that into the set list you're playing tonight, right?
Yeah,
8 songs.
Oh well, yeah.
How challenging.
Set list is always the hardest thing ever, but
One of the worst parts.
but we went heavy on the new stuff because the record was just out.
Sure.
So, but that being said, it's just like every record is not easy, but once it's done, like that whole almost year we took to write and record and prepare it. Never an easy feat, but once it's done and it came out to me, I think musically and the production on this one is just like nothing we've ever had. So the fact that you could go out of it being so happy with that and excited about it is great, and I mean that's you put in the hard work, but when it comes out like this, you're like, wow, that was tough, but that was worth it. Now we have all these great new songs and an album that sounds really great, and we're able to come out and play the stuff live, so nothing beats that.
This is like the first album that I've actually listened to a couple of times on this tour. Usually once the album's done,
Sorry, it's all good.
once the album's done, other than that initial, when we first get it and the mix is done and we're finally hearing it the first time and you kind of absorb it for the first couple of weeks, and then that's it. I don't ever go back to it other than when we're rehearsing for a tour. Acts of God, I haven't listened to that since it came out. You know what I'm saying? Other than when we practice. But this album, a couple of times on this tour, I'm like, hey, let me check out the new record, and just see. And I'm like, wow, it's fucking really good, For us to collectively be on board with that and say, yeah, we're happy with every aspect of this record, from the delivery, the performance, the production, is unheard of in this band. We never come out of a record project, a recording where we're just yeah, that's great. You know what I'm saying? We're all like, yeah, it's cool, but I wish we could have done this, or I wish this would have come out a little better, or whatever it is, and that's, never, it's not a knock to the other releases. We're very proud of everything we've done, but there was something special about this one. I can't put my finger on it, but I think just the whole vibe of it, the feeling, the it's to me, it was wow, sonically it's perfect for this band.
It flowed so well too.
And the flow, and that's important too. How the songs were laid out. What's it called? The track listing, and how things were put together, and yeah, I agree.
It keeps your attention span. That was one of the things about this record for me, was that from the beginning to the end, it just kind of keeps punching you, and it keeps your attention throughout the record. And sometimes you listen to records and you're just you kind of get to a certain point, and then it's you kind of turn it off, and then you're like, all right, but this record, it's you can listen to all the way through. And also the recording process was a little bit different too, so I was a little skeptical about how everything was going to turn out, because we were all recording in different parts, and it turned out phenomenal. I'm super happy with the mix.
I'm super happy with the mix. So my personal favorite is These Vengeful Winds.
Oh, mine too.
Which is funny, because that's exactly what's happening outside with this crazy.
Yeah, totally.
Well, what are your favorite tracks on the record? I was going to ask. No, pick one. If you
Vengeful Winds for me.
Okay.
If I had to pick one, I like the set. I like the set a lot.
Okay.
These Vengeful Winds.
Dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. Just because.
Stain.
This is one of those albums also, if you ask me tomorrow, it may change.
That's cool, because we've done a lot of interviews for this already, and a lot of people had a lot of different favorites, so to me, I like that. To me, that's the best sign.
Vengeful Winds was the first one that he wrote, and that we all heard. When I heard it, I was like, wow, first track's a good one, kid. I said, this is going to be hard. It's going to be hard to top that one, 8 or 9 more times, So, and I thought that first song really captured everything this band was about, you know, the intensity right out of the gate. And mind you, we were hearing it before leads, before vocals, before all the guitar embellishments. We were just hearing like programmed drums and the riffs, you know, just hearing the song in its most, you know, purest form, you know, its basic form, you know. And even then I was like, wow, this is really cool. You know, it's dark, it's heavy, it's pissed off. It's catchy, but not in a commercial way. It's just good catchy, you know. So I was like, wow, this is really cool. So yeah, that was my favorite.
This album may have some of my favorite riffs that you've written. Holy shit. I don't know how you do it. I don't care how you do it, but you have it.
A lot of hours in a room on a computer.
Good luck. I mean, good luck topping this album, but I'm sure you probably do it anyway. Because
we see that every record. Like after
that's good.
After Atonement, I'm like, wow, this is gonna be a hard one to top, you know. And then we did Acts of God, and we were very proud of that one. It was like, wow, this is gonna be a hard one to top. And now this one is like, wow, this is gonna be a hard one to top. So we'll see.
Okay, so last question. I was kind of just gonna think about adding this at the end, but out of all the bands on this tour, we're gonna get kind of fun with this. Behemoth, Deicide, and Rotting Christ, and you guys. Who would survive the longest in a zombie apocalypse?
Random.
What is Abandoned Crew?
Oh, okay, yeah, let's do that.
I'd say Behemoth, hands down. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Numbers alone, but
Numbers alone, but just the way that those guys are like no joke, man. They're like fucking amazing work ethic.
Okay.
Good dudes.
So if we took the crew away. What's the answer then?
Huh.
Probably you guys.
it's a tough one.
I don't know, man. I think everybody's, you know, we've all been in the game a long time, you know, so we're all about longevity, you know what I'm saying? So, I don't know, man.
At this point, you guys are just one unit. That's
Yeah.
all that
How
matters.
about we just would all get together and fuck
Yeah,
together.
that's right. Yeah, there you go.
Bob, Ross, and Alex, I want to thank you good gentlemen again for just doing this with me. This has been, obviously, just dream come true for me, obviously, but thank you for sharing your insight on what this tour life has been for you, how your careers have just spanned all over the years, and creating that volume of fan base that's just been increasing. You'll see it tonight, and I can't wait to see you guys go out all on stage. I'll be up front taking pictures with you guys.
Nice, nice.
But you guys any last words, anything else you'd like to share, promote?
Just
before we
thank
finish
you
things
for
off?
the interview and all your support over the years. We appreciate it, and all the fans from obviously this area and all around the world. We're here because of what we love, but it's great to be able to create stuff that all these people get into and can relate to, and tell us that's super important and why we're still here. So,
Yeah, same here. Thanks for the interview, and most importantly, thanks to all the fans out there, because if it wasn't for you guys, we'd have nobody to play for. So, thank you.
Yeah, not to sound like a broken record, but same. Thank you for your support, for doing the interview, for coming out here and sitting down with us, you know, and thanks to the fans, everybody who's been with us for almost 40 years, young and old, you know. I mean, we reach a lot of young kids on this tour, which is awesome, you know, so it makes us feel relevant. You know what I'm saying? So it's cool, yeah, so thank you.
Nothing but the best for you guys from here on out. Just take care of yourselves. Have a great rest of the tour, even though there's like 2 days left. But
Yeah,
I'll hopefully see you guys again down the road. So.
thank you. Thank you, sir.
Hey guys, thanks for listening to Interview Under Fire podcast. If you guys liked what you heard, please subscribe and share our channel. And please leave a 5-star review, as that helps us tremendously. If you'd like to check out more, visit www.interviewunderfire.com or our social media channels on Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And finally, we want to thank you all for the support you've been giving us. Keep it burning.